Right now, I'm a community liaison at a high school, and that's working with adolescents. So yeah, I would be changing courses because they're changing fields. Because I want to go into adult community counseling.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and I did also really notice that when I looked at the survey that you completed, you said that you feel better working with and being around people who were older than you, and so definitely I didn't think that students would fit in that category.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. And so you're still on the track of changing, looking into a career change.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good then. So tell me now. So you also said that you had a few other concerns. Not only that you wanted to change careers, but some type of you weren't feeling so validated in the current position. You didn't feel like you were being acknowledged and recognized for the things and the responsibilities that you had for the things that you're doing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I work with a lot with the community and finding donors, working with churches and different health systems, and trying to help families find the proper resources to give them assistance. And so sometimes I kind of feel like it goes unnoticed. And it's a little difficult when I have a lot of parents that come in on a continuous basis and ask for resources, or they'll ask me to be a translator. So there's times where I kind of feel like I can't, I don't notify the principal and let him know so much that I do. And he's the person that I direct to, or that I report to. And sometimes I feel like he doesn't know all that I do.
Okay. And so are you, sounds like you're saying that he doesn't know what you do, and so he doesn't know how to recognize and acknowledge your accomplishments and the things that you do.
Right.
Okay. And so if you were seeking recognition, would you be seeking it from him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to do something, in just a little bit when we go through this. We're going to do a little role play, and we'll look at it. And I want to kind of see how that recognition looked from you.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and to continue recapping, we also talked about your support system. You told me that you feel support from your spouse. However, when it comes to you going to school and accomplishing things and making career choices and decisions and changes, that you don't feel so much supported by your parents. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay. And we're also going to do a little role playing to see how that would look for you.
Okay.
I want to see, what your expectations are, and how it would make you feel if you were to receive those recognitions that you're seeking. Okay. And I think that's just about it. We talked about, you in this new career choice, and not feeling supported at school, and not feeling supported sometimes at home with family. And we also did an assessment. Last time we did go through the results and looked at some of the things that your character traits that from the assessment, and we noticed that it does match up, really well, line up really well with the new career choice that you're seeking to go into. Okay. And so, do you remember some of those? Is that you're more of a thinker?
Yeah.
You're kind of more assertive, when you're trying to do things. Yes, we talked about that. And so, we're just going to look at some things, and I'm going to see if I can see some of those character traits when we do the role playing. And just to kind of see where we can go, what things we can do, what kind of plan we can put in place, some short-term goals for you, in order to help you be sure that you're on the correct track and that you are receiving that support that you're so desperately seeking.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right. So, is there anything else, before we go into this?
No, that covers a lot.
Okay. Yeah, so I know sometimes it's a lot, and we try to get a lot of things jam-packed into one session, and I'm willing to slow down if it's necessary, because we can do one thing today and then we can carry on into the next session if you like. If something seems to be overwhelming too much for you, just let me know and I'll back off just as much as you like me to.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, the first thing I thought about that something we should probably do, just because I know that you want to receive that recognition. And we all do. You know, when we do work, you know, we want to be recognized for what we do because we put everything into some of the jobs that we do. And when it seems like our work goes unrecognized, then we don't feel, you know, what's the sense in doing it if nobody even recognizes what I'm doing? Is that kind of how you feel sometimes?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay. So this is what I want to do. I'll pretend to be your boss. Okay. And you are who you are, and you're wearing the many hats that you always wear.
Okay.
And I would like you to speak to me because what I want you to be able to do, I want you to have the courage to go to your boss in a respectful way and be able to let him know how you're feeling when it comes to you not being recognized, and to go to him in a way where he feels, wow, you know, this person deserves what she's seeking. Okay? And for you to feel comfortable enough to do that. So what I like to do is I would like for you to speak to me as if you were speaking to your boss and say the things that you like to say and let him know some of the things that you do that he has not noticed that you're doing.
Okay.
You ready for that?
Yeah.
You think you can do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exciting.
So just whenever you're ready, I'll be here.
Okay. Various situations. Hi, Mr. Hamilton. I wanted to talk to you if you have 5 minutes, if we could talk real quick in your office. I've been feeling a little overwhelmed sometimes here at work because of the translation services that we're needing so much. We have a high population of Hispanics, and a lot of the parents can't speak English, so I'm being called to translate all the time. And sometimes I kind of feel like that's the only reason that I was hired, but there's so many other qualities that I have that I can help. I do have a lot of resources, and I do help a lot of families in that sense. But sometimes I kind of feel like I'm being pulled from what my real job is as a community liaison, working with the resources, working with Vickery Meadow, and sometimes I feel like I'm being pulled away from that. And I don't know if there's any assistance that we could get. Maybe have volunteers that could come in that are parents that can help translate, or I don't know if you have any suggestions. What can we do to help with me feeling overwhelmed?
Okay. And I'm going to step back into my counseling role. Okay, what I heard you say is that I'm feeling overwhelmed with the responsibility of translating, and I'm being pulled away from my job as community liaison. But what I did not hear you say is that I do so many things, because that's what I heard you say earlier. I do so many things, but I'm not being recognized and acknowledged for the things that I do. And so what I want to help you to be able to do is not only let your boss know that you're overwhelmed with those responsibilities, but let him know how you feel when you feel like you're being looked over, how you would feel if you were acknowledged for some of those things.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
You think you could probably try that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's, there's a weekly newsletter that is sent out to all this faculty and staff about events that take place at the school. And it would be nice, to be acknowledged, and if there was just a small little, line that said, "Thank you, Valerie Luna, for working with so-and-so family," or working with Fellowship Church and receiving this donation, or, any type of recognition, maybe in the newsletter. And I think that's what brought up the idea of me not feeling recognized, because I do read those newsletters and I do send them out to donors. I do send them out to the community. And so sometimes it can be a little disheartening when I'm not in there. And I think that's when I kind of feel like maybe I don't tell him everything that's involved that I do there at the school. I mean, so much that I have counselors that will bring me students to talk to that have personal issues. Now, when the student tells me that they're, smoking marijuana or something, then, that's where I have to call administration and talk to an LSSP supervisor and have her talk to the student one-on-one, and allow her, to assist me with calling CPS. And that's one situation that I had. So it can be very stressful with the things that I have to deal with, as far as even teachers sending me students. And I don't know if it's because they know that I'm going to cross that line, they know the situation, but they don't want to handle it. And so it's almost like if they're, sending me the kids because they don't want to get in trouble, or they don't want to cross that line with DISD. So that can be frustrating.
And so what I'm hearing is, and I see you seem to be emotional about this, and it's okay to be emotional, because we are emotional when we're passionate about some things we do. And when we do things, like I heard you say earlier, that you're the one that reach out to the donors, and you bring the donors in, and then you send the paper out to the donors, and your name is not there to acknowledge that you're the person that even, made the contact with the donor. And so I can understand definitely how that can make you feel. But everything else that you said right after this, as you were talking to me as a counselor, those are the things, because you said it in a respectful way. You were not name calling. You didn't do anything that I think would be offensive to your principal. Those are the things that I want you to have the courage to be able to go to him and speak with him about, and say all of those things, that teachers send their students to me. And so it sounds to me like you're stepping into a counselor's role, right there, and you're even making a contact outside of your building to see, what do I do with this student in this situation, and what do I do with this student in that situation.
Right.
Okay. Right. That's it. And so it sounds like I said, you're filling those shoes of counselor. And so I think, and so tell me, how does that make you feel? Do you enjoy doing that?
Yes, I love it.
You
I love it, yeah. And that's just one situation. I mean, I have several, with students, with parents. I had one parent come to me who was a refugee and lived in the Big Green Meadow area. And he had reported some guys that were outside, and I kind of get nervous talking about it. And he reported them to the Dallas Police Department, and the Dallas police came and took the men into jail. And I don't know if they were in for a day, but they returned and they came back and beat this man up. And they actually knocked on his door and beat him up in his apartment building, and in his home, in front of his wife, in front of his children. So I called Dallas Police Department, got the report. I called Dallas Catholic Charities, because they're the ones that helped them find shelter and with food. And they get money from the government, so I'm trying to call them to see, okay, have you talked to the landlord? Have you talked to the property manager? So then I have to call the property management and figure out, okay, we need to move them to a different apartment because this is their safety. And not only that, but that's one of our students. Then he has two other students at a middle school and another kid in elementary. So I'm thinking, they're going to do something to the kids. So so I had to, find the resources, and we did move him to a different apartment. It was a little difficult because it didn't happen just overnight. It was through a few phone calls, through updates, and I'll get back with you. And I did actually tell the principal about that situation, because I even went home. I talked to the principal, and then I went home and I talked to my husband. He kind of got upset with me because he's like, "You do too much for these families." He said, "You have to understand where they're coming from." He must have not just reported to the police department, but one of those people got a case, and who knows if they have a felony charge, and he brought up all this scenarios, and or who knows if they're waiting for me outside in the parking lot. And that is where I need to learn as a counselor, boundaries. Where do I set boundaries, and how do I say no?
Yes.
And that is one thing I need to learn.
Yes, because it sounds to me that you were the community liaison. Some said you were also the counselor, the detective, the community outreach person, and yes, okay. So you do a lot. I recognize that. Yes. So and there are boundaries. Yeah, there are some things that sometimes we have to pass those responsibilities or those situations on to someone else. And it sounds like you also did the right thing. You did reach out to the officers, to try it, and so you passed that situation on. And sometimes it can be, because when we're passionate about something, that's what we do. And so, wow. And I can see, if you're doing all of that, I can definitely understand how you could want to be recognized for something, because you put yourself on the line. Yeah, you put yourself on the line, and when we do things, they acknowledge officers and other community service men when they put themselves on the line. And so you're doing the same thing, just in a different capacity. So I can definitely support you wanting to be recognized for it. Okay. Wow. Yes. And I applaud you for everything that you've done, with working with those students, because a lot of times they don't have that person that's there. And all they need is one person sometimes that's going to make a huge difference in their life. And just to see that someone loves them and someone cares enough, to do something extra. So I applaud you for that. Wow. And so just to go back into it just a little bit, you're serving it, you're community liaison, but you are serving as a counselor, and you are, like you say, in a program so that you can work as a counselor. And so tell me again so that I can just be sure. Did you say you were interested in working with adults, or and more adults? Okay, and not working so much with children.
No.
Okay. So it sounds, well, I'm asking that because I think that you get a lot of validation, when you feel like you're supporting the children.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because there are opportunities, since this is a career counseling, there are opportunities where you can work as a community counselor, and you can still be working with the children. And you can choose an age range that you like to work with. So I just want you to be knowledgeable of that, and something that you consider, even if you go out and you've worked with adults for a while and you realize, well, I thought I wanted to work with adults, but now I see that my passion is back here with these children. Just know that there are options, even as a community counselor, to work with children as well. And I'm sure that they could benefit from someone who is such a strong advocate for children. Yes, definitely. Okay. So do you think that, based on what we just did, that you could probably go into and speak with your principal, and just kind of just let him know how you're feeling?
Yeah, I think I need to. I probably need to think about it before on everything that I need to address.
Yes. And if you make a quick list, it's okay to make a quick list and kind of read just a few pointers off of the list. You don't have to keep everything in our head. Nobody keeps everything.